with what we call the crash rock base to make it strong.
And later on, CNR extra tension rises in Emina community in the Ashanti region as a developer destroys community cemetery.
Two, I would say, royalties. They are selling our lands without giving anything to the community. So we are pleading, if we have a king, all this wouldn't have happened.
Once again, you're welcome to CNR Extra, coming to you live from our studios at the 5 Ola Hansen Lane. You can join us with your submission, thoughts, and comments via our WhatsApp line 0204447033. We're also streaming live on YouTube, on YouTube. You can join us there and let's get talking. Neil Latte, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you, Philip.
How are you doing, my brother?
I'm well. How are you too?
I'm doing good. Let's bring you the very first story, and that has to do with Aisha Wan, the Chinese national, who has denied involvement in illegal mining activities in Ghana.
Because Chinese national Aisha Wan has denied being involved in any mining activities or mining support activities in Ghana. She made this known in a witness statement after she opened defense in the ongoing trial against her. Now, Aisha Wan, who returned to the country legally after being deported in 2019, is facing trial over Galamsey-related activities. Now, the state called 11 witnesses who testified to Aisha Wan's engagement in illegal mining in the Ashanti region, particularly in the Amansa South district. But in her witness statement, Aisha Wan said her firm has never been involved in any mining activities as she holds no license for mining. According to her, all evidence brought forward by the prosecution are untrue.
Aisha Wan opened her defense by denying all allegations leveled against her. According to her, she's not engaged in illegal mining, neither has she engaged in any mining activities, nor undertaking any mining support activities in this country. Makes the point that she has not even applied for a mining license before, because upon making inquiries, she got to understand that she didn't meet the criteria because, one, she didn't have the necessary capital for that, and also she didn't meet the ownership criteria as far as owning a company that operates a small-scale mining company is concerned. She also makes the point that she's not bought any lands for mining purposes as have been alleged by prosecution witnesses. She also indicates that any form of allegations that she's encroached upon concessions of some other mining companies are untrue. On points made about some revelations she's made with respect to statements that she gave to the police during interrogation, she indicated that she did not alter those statements and that an investigator wrote the statement, indicated her to sign, for which she will be released from the police station. She also indicated that an interpreter was actually not given to interpret what had been written in English for her. On the question on some four Chinese nationals who the prosecution claim indicated that they work for Aisha Wan, she indicated that even though she knows these persons, she knows them because she's a reference point for other Chinese nationals when they come to the country, and also a reference point even for some Ghanaians as well as state institutions like the Ghana Immigration Service, because she understands the Ghanaian terrain better and also could relate a little more better with her countrymen. And for that reason, she knew these persons. She talks about how these four persons were arrested and she was called just because she has been a reference point for other Chinese nationals in the country, and that under no circumstance has she employed these persons, nor has she given them any directives to operate a mining firm or undertake mining activities on her behalf. The state began with its cross-examination of Aisha Wan by asking the question where her company operates from. But Ashawan was not made to answer this question as proceedings were adjourned to July 17 for cross-examination to continue. Also in court on Monday, the trial of the alleged coup plotters was expected to take place. The 10th accused person in the person of ACP Benjamin Agojo was expected to open his defense. This is because some of the other accused persons had indicated that they would give testimony in a language other than the English language, which by law the state and the court is mandated to provide with interpreters. And so the court is working assiduously to get those interpreters. However, ACP Benjamin Agojo was not able to begin his testimony. First, because there were some discrepancies on what date exactly his witness statement was filed. Second, the second accused person in this particular case, he came to court and his lawyers indicated that he had been engaged in an accident and had problem with his leg. Then as a result of that, he needed to seek medical attention, and because of that, the court adjourned. After court, we could see him outside the court being aided to a vehicle where some of the other accused persons were sitting by him, and they later put him in a car, presumably to be taken to a health facility for treatment. On Monday as well, the prosecution in the Collins Dauda case, that's in the case involving the former Works and Housing Minister, respect to some alleged criminal activities relating to the Saglemi Housing project. The state was expected to call its first witness, but the witness was unavailable because the witness, who is the acting director of the Work and Housing Ministry, according to prosecution, is on a national assignment with President Akufo-Addo and was unavailable. Again, the defense in this case have filed some applications seeking for more disclosures. According to our sources with the defense team, is that a coordinator of the Saglemi Housing project gave a statement to the police wherein he indicated that he sanctioned certain payments, and so they are seeking for disclosure with respect to those letters and those receipts to the payments and activities that he signed. Meanwhile, some members of the minority group in Parliament, including Minority Leader Dr. Kissel Atoforsen, Deputy Minority Leader Ama Kofi-Boa, Minority Whip Gavins Kwame Agboja, former Deputy Attorney General Dr. Dominic Ayine, MP for North Tongue Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa were at the courts to support Collins Dauda, as they've indicated, to show support to their members who are facing criminal charges. MP for North Tongue Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa spoke to the media after proceedings on Monday.
We have said that anytime our colleagues have any of these witch hunting hearings, we will come with them in solidarity, and this is one of them. We'll be back here tomorrow on the Honorable Kwesi case, and we expect later in the week to also join the Honorable Atuforsen. So as long as the witch hunting continues, the solidarity gets stronger and bolder.
Should we take it that it doesn't matter if Parliament is sitting or not, because we got the understanding that if Parliament is sitting, you come with them. But we know that usually Parliament doesn't sit on Monday. It doesn't mean that on any day that they have a case, you'll be here.
On any day. We are not fair weather friends or fair weather colleagues. Whether the House is sitting or not, we will be with our colleagues. So, yes, the House was not sitting today, but you saw us here in our numbers. We'll continue tomorrow, even though the House will be sitting, and we have quite some important business tomorrow, but that business will...
So Aisha Wan's case surfaced again late last year, but she returned illegally after being deported in 2018. Is facing charges with engagement in illegal mining, popularly known as galamsey, without license. The state presented 11 witnesses to testify to her involvement in illegal mining in Ashanti region, specifically Amansia South District. But here we find ourselves now. I've not been involved in any illegal mining activity.
Very, very interesting development, Philip, especially because all 11 witnesses that have been called as far as this particular case is concerned have actually said that Aisha Wan was engaged in some form of illegal mining. But since the case began somewhere last year, September, if my memory serves me right, this is the first time we are hearing Aisha Wan actually speak in court after mounting the witness box, the box with her witness statement. And so it's quite baffling to say that, to get the understanding that all 4 charges that have been leveled against Aisha Wan, she's actually denied all of them. First, engaging in illegal mining without license, facilitating the participation of others in illegal mining, illegally employing foreigners, and also re-entering Ghana. As far as that particular deportation is concerned, all 4 of them she's denied. But I remember clearly that at a point she had also admitted that, well, she actually came back into Ghana when she had missed the husband. And if you put all of these things together, especially when the case began and some of the things that she heard, for example, a senior minister then said that, well, Aisha Wan wasn't deported because of Ghana's relationship with China and some economic, assistance we received from the country. Even the president at the point even said that he was unsure whether Aisha Wan was deported or she actually fled out of the country. So some of these things actually do not put all the issues in perspective. It's as if everybody is unsure what exactly the situation is. So it's good that, well, she's opened her defense. We are expecting that some of these things will be put to rest. We get to find out what exactly the problem is, and then also try as much as possible to get to the bottom of this particular matter. Because you see, when this particular issue is not handled properly, it gives credence to the fact that because of some political or economic backing Aisha Wan has, that's why the case is traveling as the way we are seeing now. And so 17th July, we are made to understand that, well, the case will be called again in court for her to be cross-examined. And so that is what we are expecting. But it's interesting to know that Aisha Wan is saying that she's not engaged in
let's see how this issue unfolds as 17th July, the case will be called up again, and we will be monitoring it keenly. Away from this story, and whole municipality has recovered from severe flooding as residents and businesses have returned to normalcy.
Activities of residents and business owners in the whole municipality are slowly returning to normalcy after a heavy downpour on Saturday led to severe flooding, causing damage to houses and businesses. Now, although the flood waters have receded, the aftermath is still visible as shop owners and homeowners worked tirelessly on Monday morning to clean up the mess left behind. City News' Desmond Salasi Ago has more.
Some affected business owners shared with City News that their businesses are gradually bouncing back despite the flood incident. However, they emphasized the urgent need for city authorities to take decisive action in finding a lasting solution to the recurring flood problem.
I feel a task force should be set, right, so that dumping of refuse into the stream, right, could be checked from the top of the mountain, because we know that this stream runs from the top of the mountain through our side. Yes, so I feel that maybe a task force or whatever they can do to check the dumping of refuse into the stream, so that when it rains, right, there will be more of water than refuse and logs and tree stumps.
Not be coming. They are thinking that we are not selling, or they think that when they come, they'll come and buy damaged goods. So they are not coming. So we want government to help us. That gutter over there is the cause of the whole thing over there. For we are staying here is because of that pipe on the gutter. So if they can raise the pipe, I think that one will solve the problem here.
The impact of the flooding extended beyond residential areas, affecting student hostels at the Whole Technical University and the University of Health and Allied Sciences. This added to the overall disruption caused by the heavy rain. During an interview with City News, the SRC General Secretary of the Whole Technical University, Gladys Chiagbe, mentioned that students are managing to cope with the aftermath of the downpour.
We were cleaning, fetching some of the waters out. We were scooping it. Some people came to help us, and then gradually, we were able to scoop the water out. So, and yesterday it rained again. So, because it was our fence that broke, they were fixing it yesterday, but then it didn't dry up before it started raining. So the woods and things that they used to chalk the concrete so that the water swept it away.
To address some of the concerns raised by the residents, demolition exercises have commenced in the municipality. The whole Municipal National Disaster Management Organization has started tearing down some structures that are deemed hazardous to human lives.
With the leadership of our municipal chief executive, we've embarked on the demolition exercise. From our Winnie shop here, we went to SDA and then back to Tobo Banque here. And that's what we have done this morning.
However, some homeowners whose weakened structures were demolished disagreed with NADMO, stating that they should have received prior notice about the demolition. The Member of Parliament for the whole Central Constituency, Benjamin Podo, has called on the Municipal Assembly to re-evaluate the existing drainage systems in the municipality.
What we are saying is that this is caused by the narrow and very small drainage system that we have. What we can do to avert this type of trouble in the future is to take it serious now and expand our culverts or deepen them so that when such huge volumes of water come up again, they will find their path and go to wherever they've been going to.
Additionally, he urged the Assembly to ensure proper permits are issued to homeowners to avoid future complications.
Waterways, but the Assembly should be strict in enforcing the bylaws. If you have failed to obtain permit as you construct, you should be taken to task. Yes, you should be taken to task as to why you have done that. The necessary punitive measures are given to you so that there can be sanity in the way we build our houses and structures in the locality.
The rains have once again set in here at the Volta Regional Capital, with residents still with the view that there is a need for a much more bigger drainage system in the municipality, and also the demolition of structures sited along waterways. Reporting for City News from the Volta Regional Capital, I'm the Sonselatiano.
So it's good news that businesses have bounced back, activities have bounced back following the severe flooding situation in Ho Township. But if the authorities are now in that the right thing must be done, i.e. the demolition of buildings sited on waterways, the discriminate disposal of waste, among other things, then it has to be checked very well, because if we are recording this in the early hours of the rainy season, this is like the first time I'm hearing something
myself, because happened, you realize that a lot of people, the question on their minds were that, well, how come Ho is experiencing something like this? Usually it's in Accra or some parts of, the Ashanti region and all that. But it also tells you that, well, maybe the area is developing, gentrification is setting in, so authorities must step up efforts and then make sure that some of these things are checked. But if you look at this whole flooding situation that we experience in the country, usually the cycle is usually the same. What we fail to do in the past is the mitigation and also preparing against some of these things. Usually it's all about the response and the recovery process.
That's what affects us in the future, because now the demolition exercise is starting, and some of the residents are saying that, well, you've not given us prior notice to this exercise, and we are not aware of it. The MP went around, that is Benjamin Podo went around with some officers, and you could tell that he's also saying that you should give them prior notice. But what stopped the Assembly or the various authorities from checking whatever is being done?
Exactly so, because you sat down for people to build on waterways, you sat down for people to, fill gutters, a drainage system with all sorts of, materials. You didn't desilt them, the gutters got choked, and we are seeing and in fact, some of these poor architecture and poor drainage system and some of these poor things that we see, it's our own doing. And so if things like this happen, what I expect authorities to do is to enforce, some of the sanitation bylaws in their localities, because that is the panacea to solving some of these things. Because look, it will be very difficult for us to, commit resources to, re-engineer some of the drainage systems, at least for the short to medium term. If it's the long term, fine, we'll be able to do that. But whilst we are at it, what do we do to ensure that the very improper practices that people do each and every day, you go to a community, you see somebody filling the gutter with, debris from the house and all sorts of things, and then we sit unconcerned. And when the worst or the unexpected happens, then we turn around to say that, well, authorities are moving in, they are moving us out of an area or a community. They've not provided that. But the situation demands that, well, we have to solve the issue there and then. So the buck stops on, both leadership in the community and also citizens. What are residents doing by themselves? Sometimes I say that we have to find, local solutions to our local problems.
Yeah, so in there we saw NADMO doing what they can do about the situation. We saw the MCA also pushing. We saw the NDC parliamentary candidates, that is Edem Potosu, also in there. And we saw the member of parliament for the area, that is Benjamin Podo, all trying to find solution to this problem. I would say that we should just say it in our mind that this wouldn't happen again in the whole township. Away from this story, a very exciting news coming is that construction or road construction is progressing rapidly on the Valco Road. As tanker drivers, they have suspended their strike, but government is giving them assurances that their roads will be fixed.
Some other stories, and construction works are swiftly advancing to enhance the condition of the Volta Aluminium Company Limited Road in Tema. This positive development follows an agreement reached between the Ministry of Roads and Highways and the Ghana National Petroleum Tanker Drivers Union, resulting in the union suspending their nationwide strike due to concerns regarding the poor road network around their loading terminals. Now, City News' Daniel Dromensa has more on this report, read to you by Charles Owusu-Kumi.
Significant progress is being made in the ongoing construction of the Valco-Pung Road in Tema. On Monday, July 10, the Minister of Roads and Highways, Kwesi Amoakwata, accompanied by members of the Ghana National Petroleum Tanker Drivers Union, visited the site to assess progress of work. City News observed the presence of construction equipment awaiting the excavation of sand from a culvert along the road. The construction progress is as a result of the petroleum tanker drivers and liquefied petroleum gas drivers suspending their nationwide strike following assurances from the sector minister to address the poor state of the road. Minister Amoakwata expressed his appreciation for the cooperation of the union in reaching a resolution.
The relationship that has been developed between the government, represented by my ministry, and to some extent Ministry of Transport, and the various tankers association will go on and will make sure that we live in harmony and in tranquility for the development of this country.
Additionally, the Minister of Roads and Highways reiterated his commitment to ensuring the completion of the asphaltic overlay for the entire road.
This will obviously give the contractor the necessary time to do the real efforts and to work on the road. And as I indicated, this road is being worked on, with what we call crash rock base to make it strong, because of the tankers, and it is being developed into asphalt concrete road, and work will not cease until this road sees its final completion stage, and it will not be limited to this Pung road. We are also looking at other depots across the country.
The resident engineer overseeing the road improvement project, Edward Anang, explained that Once the culverts on the main road are completed, motorists will soon be able to utilize the road shoulders.
What it's been able to do is to take away all the pools of water on the road, fill in and compact, and then all the rough areas, scarify and shape. They've done all that for the 5 kilometers from the junction after toll right to Po. They've done all that. Then they've also been able to finish 4 culverts on the road. We saw one today and we're standing on it, and that's where we had the discussions. So far, that's what has been done. They've also been able to excavate and remove all the bad materials in the shoulders and refill with boulders and then the positive granite, the gravel on the sides. The idea is to transfer traffic from the main road onto the sides so that we can now start with the main road.
Sunday Alabi, Vice Chairman of the Ghana National Tanker Drivers Union, conveyed the excitement about the progress made so far.
It was a good move from the minister. He realized that last 2 weeks when the strike was going on, he came and then promised that we should form a 7-man committee and the contractor will go on the road to start construction. And as you can see, the contractor is on the road constructing the road. So they are working hardly on the road. And then he promised that he will be coming weekly to come to check how the proceeds are going. So he came this morning. We took him to the road. You will see that the work is ongoing. The bridges are being constructed. So we made him understand that as for now, it's dust that is disturbing the people. And the contractor promised that he will send water tankers on the road and they'll fix it for us. So we spoke to other branches to Kumasi Bupe, and my chairman let him know that the work ongoing at Kumasi Bupe and Takrady is slow. So he wants them to double up so that it will look as if it's only Tema that they are concentrated on. And the minister received it in a good faith that yes, from here they will go and talk to the contractors there so that they will work. But for all we got this morning, it's because of the rain, Friday, yesterday and today at Takrady. That is why they are holding on. They want the rain to come down before they continue with that work. So as we speak, so far, so good.
So it's great news that work is progressing steadily on that particular road and other roads that the tanker drivers complained about. I can tell you for a fact that the strike has yielded fruits. And the action man, as the roads minister is going to ensure that this is going to be fixed. And I think it's going to help us all, because when the strike was in force, we were likely to have issues with the transportation of fuel.
Yeah, strike is one of the labor tools available to some of these workers anytime they want to drum home their demands. And it also appears that that is the language the government understands, because over the period we've seen a number of groups embarking on one strike or the other just to get the government's attention or to press home their demands. And for me, this is one of the few things that I've seen that I'm also excited about, because it stems from the fact that even if you listen to the tanker drivers, they are also
excited, yes,
about the level of development and the government commitment. The caution here, however, is that government must not do the road anyhow. Simply put,
it shouldn't be done in a rush,
just because
so that it wouldn't be able to,
because we don't want to come back again 2 weeks or even a year after
it goes back.
It goes back to its deplorable state, because the heavy nature of these tanker.
I'm sure all these things may have been considered.
So I'm just hoping that the government will actually do a proper job, because when this particular news came up, one of the questions I asked myself was, roads leading to cocoa farms, bad. Roads leading to tourist sites, bad. Roads leading to tanker enclaves where we get our gas, fuel and all that too in a terrible shape. What at all is the problem? But I must say that the government has actually done well as far as this particular issue is concerned. We do want to believe that, just as the minister has said, work is not going to cease and we are going to hold his words for it. And also, whilst we are at it, we just don't want to see it here in Tema, because myself, I apply that particular road. That's where I live, and so I know the bad nature of the road. Very terrible, I must say, when you apply that way. So in other parts of the country, because it was a nationwide strike, so it shouldn't be just left at Tema. Other parts of the country should also be given the needed attention and all that. So, well, we want to see that this particular road network will be fixed, and then tanker drivers will be happy. We get our fuel so that there is no looming shortage.
Rightly so. So we can say that the government is doing well when it comes to this particular issue, trying to find ways and means to resolve it. You are still watching CNR Extra here on City TV. Still to come. Tension rises in a Mina community in the Ashanti region as developer destroys community cemetery. We'll bring you this story and more after this break.
Yes, we are back. Wines of South Africa, Rossa, is back in Ghana for the biggest wine show ever. Date, Saturday 15th July at the Labadi Beach Hotel, Accra. Time, 7 p.m. sharp. Wines of South Africa Grand Tasting Event 2023 is proudly brought to you by Wines of South Africa and John Williams Consults Ghana. This event is sponsored by Ghana Export Promotion Authority and Best National Bank. Partners, South African High Commission, Accra, South African Airways, and Labadi Beach Hotel. Media partners, AmayalDebra.com, CTFM, CTTV, Voyage Afrique Magazine, and Ovation Magazine. Don't miss out on this extraordinary event by securing your tickets now at bossa2023.eventbrite.com or call 0553-271-032. Remember to come celebrate with Wines of South Africa, Saturday, 15th July 2023, 7 p.m. at Labadi Beach Hotel, Accra. Wines of South Africa, welcome to our world of discovery. Strictly by invitation and reserved for 18 years and above.
You're welcome back. Let's bring you some more stories, but let's remain on road-related issues. And residents within communities along the Apollonia-Afienya Road wants government to fix it immediately.
Residents within communities along the Apollonia-Afienya want government to come to their aid by fixing the deplorable road. They say the deplorable nature of the road has worsened following continuous downpour. Now, City News' Philip Nilante has the rest of the story in this report.
The Apollonia-Afienya Road qualifies to be the most deplorable road in the Katamanso municipality. Only motorists with vehicles which are four-wheel drive and trucks can ply the stretch, as no saloon vehicle uses the road. The road, which is in a very bad shape, worsens whenever there is a downpour.
I was trying to, now it was raining, then I was coming from Afienya, and a friend said, hey, Pastor, where are you going? So I'm going to Apollonia. And he said, no, I cannot go because the road I can't go. It was terrible. I tried there, but now it was very terrible.
Wow.
Seriously.
Are you even use a high-rise car?
Yes. So the road there, in fact, is very terrible. So if you are doing a report, then make sure you do it very well so that they will come to our aid. Yes, I'm a contractor and I often do use the roads. Okay. But sometimes if it is too rainy, we don't pass here. We use other roads. Yes, because you can't go. You can't. Because provided if it is raining and then the place is flooded, how can you go? You can't. So.
Is this how it's been like this?
No, it's been like this for a while now. Because I think that the road is on construction and then we don't know what happened before the stuff. What the authorities should do. You understand? Because this one, if you, even the government yourself, you can't pass here, it will tell you say they should construct this road. Because it's the road which linked to Afienya to OEB and then Dodoa area. Yeah.
Fred Akon, who plies the road on a daily basis, says though heavy-duty trucks contribute to the destruction of the road, if the stretch is made robust, all vehicles can easily ply the road.
If the road is not proper constructed, if rainfall, what will happen? Yeah. So that one day, you can't say because of the road, rain shouldn't fall. If it falls and then the road is not good, yeah, it will get it too much damage.
What of the big trucks?
They also contributed, but okay, so if they're going to take their load, where would they pass? They're also one of the fat bets. Where would they pass? Yes, the construction, we don't have a tipper trucks road or trailers road or whatever. We will use the same routes. And so it's not their fault.
Commercial motorcyclist, also known as Okada rider, Wise Kojo Tagbo, says residents within communities along the Apollonia-Afienya road heavily rely on Okada as their only means of transport. According to him, commercial vehicle drivers have stopped plying the road.
You see, this road is very, very bad, and it's not helping. You can't even use structure to pass this road. Nobody will be on their right senses and put their car on this road. And the only source of transport here is the motorbike. And sometimes the police will come and be harassing them, taking money from them, because people are saying that Okada is illegal. And the Okada is the only source of transport around here. The road, constructing the road from Afienya. My brother, you go and see. You go and see the new road they're constructing. Already having a pothole. And even the road is not finished yet, it was not even completed. But there is a lot of potholes on the newly one they're constructing. And the old one, you can't even use your car to pass here. You just try it and you see. You have to cross rivers, dams. Just look at my motorbike. I just crossed here. There's no transport on this road. The only source of transport here is Okada.
Christopher Yeboah, a resident of Apollonia, says the deplorable nature of the road is having a toll on their lives.
Forget, it's a fight bad to the first, because if you won't go to the town, you won't go to this one. It was smooth past. It's a lot of problem. Last time you meet at the assemblyman. Assemblyman says you are working with this road. So you say you are working it.
And
the MP there, you know me, I don't know what the MP said.
But what are the authorities doing to fix the road? Joseph Tete is the Member of Parliament for Pong Katamanso.
I needed to do, I have done it. Like appealing for these roads to be awarded. I remember there was a time, there's one road from Apollonia to Bawalishin. I did some follow-ups. That road was also awarded. I was there when one contractor called me. That is the one coming to work on the road. So I was even assist her to get gravel from Apollonia City. So which we were in the process of doing that, and the contractor moving, did some 1 or 2 grading, and that was it. Cannot see the contractor anymore. So virtually most of the roads that are in bad shape have been awarded. In my constituency, if you take the Pong to Tor Road, if you take Atadika Road, if the contractor started some work on it before the last 2020 elections, but since then the road was abandoned. The Apollonia to Afienya Road, the road is in the very bad state. That one too, there's a contractor. Our contractor is supposed to be on site, because when you apply that road, you realize the contractor came and did some bridges, then left sites.
What is in front of me is beyond a pothole. It can be termed as a ditch in the middle of the Apollonia-Afienya Road. Motorists and residents within communities along the stretch are of the view that much attention must be paid to this road by the various authorities and fixed immediately. Reporting for City News, my name is Philipini Latte. So this road is very deplorable, and it's serious because saloon cars are not able to use the road. The residents have been complaining a number of times that, well, come to our aid, get this road fixed. I don't know what really it is with this road, but when I visited the stretch, you could see that the continuous plying or the trucks using the stretch it's one of the causes. But I don't know. I think that something has to be done immediately. But the MC, the MP, they state that it's as a result of funds.
I can imagine the frustration of residents, motorists, and all other persons who ply this particular road. And like you described and painted a picture in your report, it was a very huge one. I don't know which vehicle will be able to.
So the trucks use that particular ditch, I call, because they are unable to use the end side or the shoulders of the road because they would end up overturning. So they have no option than to go through the ditch.
So for people who are using normal vehicle, they are unable to use
You can't use your normal vehicle.
And authorities have actually admitted to the fact that it is because they are being stifled of funds. That's why they are unable to.
Well, we pray that something will be done about it.
Because the member of parliament is in parliament, he should be asking questions about some of these things.
Well, he stated that they are going to raise it on the floor of parliament so that they see how that is going to turn. But, well, if the various authorities are watching, you should ensure that something is done about the road because the road is very deplorable. Away from that story, and tension is rising in a Mina community in the Ashanti region as a developer has destroyed the community cemetery. Let's bring you that insert.
Tension is rising in Emina, a community located in the Fulcrum municipality of the Ashanti region following the destruction of a community cemetery by a developer. Now, the developer claimed to have obtained a court order to work on the land and brought machinery over the weekend to grade the area. Here's City News' Ashanti regional correspondent Hafiz Tijani with a report.
Over the weekend, residents in this area took to the streets to protest against the destruction of their community cemetery, which resulted in the exposure of some bodies. The developer, who owns a house adjacent to the cemetery, reportedly graded the land to gain access to her property. The community members swiftly responded, and the situation was diffused with the intervention of the police. 3 residents involved in the protest were initially apprehended by the police, but were later released on bail. Assembly member for the Bwedi, Emina Piedu and Kokobin electoral area, Kenneth Owusu-Bediakun, provided an account of what transpired.
Last Saturday around 5:30 a.m. I was called by one resident in Emina that there were some agitations within the community, so I quickly put on some attire and then tried moving out. On my way out, I saw some youth from Emina, both male and female, who were in red handbands and then headbands. The agitation was that a grader has been set on their cemetery to pave a way for a woman who is building on a cemetery land. And hence, bodies that were buried years and those that were buried months ago has been exposed. And that they do not understand why people that were involved within these actions are walking freely, whilst some that were contesting against this action had been arrested.
Residents who have their relatives buried in the cemetery expressed their dissatisfaction and dismay regarding the development.
2, I would say, royalties, they are selling our lands without giving anything to the community. So we are pleading, if we have a ken, all this wouldn't have happened. Come here, look, and I can't come and no be and I heard them. And then you BM. So what you couldn't dear, you did that assassins who are more than highest, say a pump engine, Yentima Home, Adriana, Musi Yanto, Metimacho Quaso, Nayasa, you and a pump here to you, or Bias one, pass it down, and I'm not down, I'm papa. And a down, if you ban any TD say that you're not come, Masusa, Bonnet huh? Nana, yes, you what you have to Casegua Bontine. Missy Uja, Kawuna, and sounds also no smash. I know bone. Yes,
and health impacts on the community as the graves are now left uncovered. In response to these concerns, the municipal chief executive for Forikrum, Abraham Entry, assured City News that environmental health officers are working to cover the open graves and fumigate the area.
We are more particular with the security implications. So what we have done this morning is that
I got the team of professionals, including environmental health people, disease control people, fiscal planning people, works department people. We have been there to look at the situation. And the recommendation from all these professionals is to the effect that the open graves there poses some serious threat to human life. And if we don't quickly deal with them, fumigate and cover the place, we could easily have issues with health. Some airborne diseases, some waterborne diseases. In fact, if it rains, these open graves erosion could easily sweep the remains there into some river bodies and other things, which may cause extent problems to other areas.
The police have summoned all parties involved for questioning as part of their investigations.
Authorities at the Oforikrom Municipal Assembly have begun engaging stakeholders to find a lasting solution to the issue at Emina. Hafiz Tijani, City News, Oforikrom, Ashanti region.
And rightly so, a lasting solution must be found to this particular issue. But let's go over to my colleague Hafiz Tijani, who is covering this story extensively to bring us up to speed what is happening at the cemetery now. Hafiz, good morning. What is happening at the place that is the Emina Community Cemetery?
Okay, so mental health officers from the Oforikrom